Hi, it's Jill with cricflix. I am working on the 9th of the little baby, I'll say the little baby series. I don't have her glittered on the back, but I want to put together, and I'm going to film just doing the front, and I'll go back and do the back. No, I think I'm going to glue the stuff on it, but glitter it afterwards. I got all my things out here so that I would be prepared. Now I've got the little girl here laying in a bed of flowers, and then I went and put some flowers up here on her head. So we're going to first put the bed together, and it is going to require some little gold, these little gold pieces, so that I can get the peg down to the ground level. Anyway, it's been a long, it's already late in the day here. My husband had to make yet another trip to the emergency room, which would be trip number, number 2 in the past 2 weeks. But he's been having these issues with his heart racing, and been through this before, and it turned out he needed a stent put in. And I'm trying to find some more sticks here, guys. I didn't realize I'm running out of my big ones, my favorite ones, so I'm gonna have to use whatever I got. But anyway, he had to go in again because he'd taken what his doctor called his SOS pills, which are 3 pills that are supposed to slow the heart rate down, and it didn't work. And so after 30 minutes, if it doesn't work, he needs to go in. But I had 4 grandkids here at the time, a 3-month-old, a 2-year-old, and 2 4-year-olds. So I had to call his brother and ask him if he could please come and get him and take him in. I'm getting so used to it now that I know it's not anything serious. His heart's fine. It's something, I think it's called tachycardia. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But anyway, he's been having quite a few of them. And my brother, who's a cardiologist, every time something happens with my husband, because of the time that he nearly lost him because they kept saying nothing was wrong, and he was getting ready to board a plane. He head to Colorado to see his sister, and it turned out that his widowmaker was 99% blocked. And I convinced him not to get on the plane. It was Thanksgiving night, and I convinced him not to get on the plane by reading him an email my brother, who I was very, 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 very close to, had sent my other brother, who's a cardiologist, really long email telling him all that he'd been going through for about 6 weeks. And that day, my brother had gone to his doctor and had a stress test, and the doctor had said he needed to see a cardiologist. And my brother said, well, can it wait till I get back? I'm heading to Mexico tonight, or in the morning. Can I do it when I get back? He was going to, him and my sister-in-law were going to Mexico to celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary. It was Valentine's Day, and it was her birthday, and they just were doing it all in one. And he said, yeah, it can wait till, supposedly, he said it could wait till he could till he got back. And so they went on the trip, and he died that night in Cozumel. And it's been 8 years now, but it still is not real to me. But when my husband went to get on a plane, he had the same symptoms. So I printed out the email that my brother had sent, and my brother-in-law and him were leaving. So my brother-in-law was here. He was spending the night. They were leaving in early morning, and he read the email from my brother and said, no, we're not going to go. We're canceling the trip. And he went in, and he'd been into the emergency room 3 times, and at no point did they check and do the cath that they should have that would have found that clogged artery. And so my husband ended up, or my brother-in-law ended up telling the hospital, asking him if they'd done a cath, and my brother lives down south, I had sent him all of his medical records, and he said the first thing they should have done when he went in the first time was they should have done a cath. And so after my brother-in-law said something to him about it, they came back a few minutes later and said, we're going to do a cath now. And they did. And 99% blocked was that artery. Had he gotten on the airplane, he would have gotten off in a body bag. So, needless to say, since that happened, I get real nervous when he has anything going on with his heart, because I lost all faith in the doctors, because he'd been in by ambulance a few times, and a few times me taking him in for the rapid heart, and he had real bad heartburn and just all these symptoms that went improperly diagnosed. And so now whenever it happens, I'm always, if I go in with them, I'm always asking the doctor and telling him, because I really get annoyed when they have all the medical records there and no one seems to think it's a big deal. So every time he ends up going in for this racing heart now, I always call my brother, and I think I'm asking him do they need to do a cath, because they never do that. He's been in there. This is the second time now. He said no. The symptoms and stuff that he had now were the tachycardia, that all he needed was to go see a electrophysiologist. He said he needs a ablation, and bam, my lights went off, because I remember that when he went, after he'd had, I don't remember if it was after or one of the times that he went. Must have been after, because my son-in-law's one of his best friends is a heart doctor. So he got my husband right away to check him, and he said, yes, he wished that his heart was in that good a condition when he was his age. Everything was good. That beating, tachycardia, or whatever it is, he says, very common. And he was real surprised there was no record on his heart that he'd ever had that before. But he said if it continues, that's what he said needed to be done. But I had totally forgotten. That was 10 years ago. So when my brother told me today, I'm like, I remember. That's what the heart doctor said. So I kept calling him, trying to intercept my brother-in-law who was taken to the hospital. I was trying to intercept him to tell him, turn around, come home. Because they won't do anything up there at the emergency room. They're not going to do anything. He'll be there for 6 hours, and they'll do an EKG, and they'll do a blood panel, and they'll monitor him, and after a couple hours, they'll redo it all. And I said, they're going to do the exact same thing today, and he'll be up there 6 hours. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. But by the time I was able to get a hold of them, he was already sitting in there getting checked in, or getting checked. They were doing the EKG. So he had to wait up there all day. And when they were all done, the guy comes back and he says, yep, this is what you need to have done. You need to see this electrophysiologist, and you need an ablation, and everything that I just got through telling my son-in-law and my brother-in-law and my husband, to tell them that this is what my brother had said. But of course, they can't go by some frantic wife calling and telling them how to be a doctor. And I knew better than that, but I got in panic mode because of the fact that he was up there so many times, and they kept releasing him. I cannot believe I just dropped that thing 3 times. Yes, I can. I told my husband this morning, a day does not go by where I don't drop something. Never. A day does not ever go by where I don't drop something. And so this morning I was counting as I was dropping everything. I was counting, and I dropped 5 things just getting ready in the morning. But he says, because you're clumsy. And I said, this isn't clumsy. It's not clumsy. It just falls. Okay, there. We got her. And I put these pegs here so that when I put her on the base, she's going to need a bigger base than this, but I don't have any up here in my office, so I'm just going to stick her on that one. What I wanted is I'm going to have to cut it down or cut these down or longer because I want the base. It's not hitting right. So it's going to have to hit like that so the legs hit here and this. So I'm going to have to stick a little tiny one in there just so I can get a little bit more height. So not a problem. I didn't make my peg as long as I should have. So what I'm going to do is, let me see, I've got two ways of doing it. I need to have it come down longer. I'm thinking here, guys, because what I'm going to need is, get back to this. I got to decide how I'm going to do it. I need it a little longer because it's like a hair off from this hitting the ground. And I think the way I'd rather do it is add a little bit of something to the base. Let me see. I'm going to try this again. I got these little tiny wood circles. And let me see, if I put one of those, which I would attach and paint gold, if that's what I had to do, would that give it enough to hit? Or am I going the wrong way? We're soon going to find out. Got that little circle on there. Yep, that's all it takes. So what I'll do is that little tiny circle I just showed you, I'm going to have her on a bigger base. I will add that to my base and have it painted gold as well. And it gives it just enough so the base and the feet are hitting at the same time. I thought I had it enough. That's what happens when I think. Okay, I'm going to work on the side that is already glittered. And I'm going to put the lace. I'm going to go ahead and do both sides because I'll go back and glitter where I didn't put flowers. And it didn't dawn on me till I was through working on this that it's kind of silly for me to put all the flowers and things on there, or the glitter on there, and then go and glue my ruffle or whatever I'm putting on it, my flowers, my ruffle, anything on over where I just glittered. So that's the reason I'm going to do it this way now, because now the next one I'm going to be doing is all glittered. So I'm going to be putting flowers on top of all the glitter work I did. I had to order my glitter from scrapbooking.com the other day. I ordered it on Saturday and it came today. Their shipping's fantastic. I love scrapbooking.com. That's where I usually order all of my glitter. The only thing I don't like is they don't always have all the colors. So, but what I did is I went through and I thought, well, I'm going to need it all. So I just went ahead and ordered 3 bottles of every color that they have. And when I was putting it away into my glitter containers today, I realized I have a great big glitter box back there that holds my liquid pearls and my glitter. And I have a whole bunch already in there that I didn't even realize. So I'm hoping that I come up with some orders that need green, because I got a ton of green, different shades of green. I forgot that I had it in there. It's because I hadn't been doing anything for so long. It was really slow, and I had a lot on my plate with my family that work was just not happening as much. So I didn't realize how much stuff I still had left. But now I got enough glitter that I probably won't have to order it for quite some time. Okay. When this fell, this broke this flower a little bit. So what I'm going to have to do is glue probably a toothpick thin piece of my wood that I have, or sticks that I have that are real thin, to strengthen that and glitter over it. We're going to see what I can do. Or I might just hot glue over it, because it's not broken, it's just weak. Maybe I'll just hot glue over it. I don't know. Oh. And back and forth. I got this one and one left to do, and I'm going to be done with these little girls. Been a long haul, guys. Especially doing 10 of them and making all 10 of them different. So, reuse the faces, but I did not reuse the babies at all. That made it really fun. For me, that was just really made it super fun to do because there wasn't all the repetition. And to try and design and figure out what face I could put in what print or what pattern. All of my images that I used, the files that I used, are all from Divine Digital Diva on Etsy. She's the best. And I just saw when I was ordering these, I hadn't ordered any in a long time because I have pretty much everything I need in the baby files. But when I was going through looking for the pink yesterday, I did not realize how many files she has now. Unbelievable. So many files. How am I going to do this, guys? I'm going to start with just putting some hot glue, and then I'm going to have to get back and see what I want to do to this. This hot glue here is going to make this very sturdy where this fell and broke. And more than likely, I will go back and put a flower over it. I have to hold that down a little bit so for the glue to dry. I don't want to do any glittering or anything on the back side here because this will dry quick and then I'm going to flip her over. What I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to move her aside and put the other one together. I got to let this glue dry. And there we go. Yeah. And put my drink on top of it. My water, or whatever I'm drinking. I don't even know what I filled it with. I had to lay down and take a nap after my husband finally got home from the hospital. It was already 5:30, but I'm like, I've got to work tonight, and I'm not going to be able to stay awake. I am exhausted from being on my own with 4 kids. Especially with one being a 3-month-old that decided to pick today to cry nonstop. If his eyes were open, he was crying. And he napped like 3 or 4 hours in the morning. He was still sleeping when my husband headed to the hospital, but woke up shortly thereafter and ate, and then spent the remainder of the time while he was awake crying. I could not get him to settle down. And then the other one, the 2-year-old, decided to try and take advantage of the situation and get into, I think it was the candy that he was scoping out, but I heard him. And so I called him out because I heard the lid on the candy dish. And somebody would say, well, why would you have anything down where he can reach it? Because he can reach anything. He climbs everywhere. Oh, what did I do with my open box? Okay, I'm running out of glue sticks too. I have a new box. I just need to open it up and take some more out. Normally, I have all the sticks and everything done before I get working here, but I do not right now. And I did take the pictures of the finished girls, and I use Clipping Magic to remove any kind of background and get anything out of the picture that I don't want. It's online. I think you pay per month, depending on how many images that you're going to or need it for. But I absolutely love it. So I took pictures of each of the pieces I had done and Then I put them in Clipping Magic and removed all the background and anything I didn't want showing. And then I used those to make the little images that are going to be for the banner that I'm making. I'll take a video of that, but I'm not doing a happy birthday. I'm doing 10 pictures, and I actually took a picture of them so they matched. Rather than taking a picture of the image itself, it wouldn't have matched because, well, no, that's not true. If I took a screenshot, it would not show everything that I added to it. Like the fur that I added and the ruffle and stuff, none of that would show up if I did it just a screenshot of the design. So I wanted it to look just like the actual centerpieces and the cake toppers. So I made cake toppers to match on each one, double-sided, and then I used these long pink sticks. I think I showed this in the other video. As a matter of fact, I remember that. And then I'll let her cut them off whatever length she needs. But the last two, she's going to end up, she wanted 3 dozen. She's going to end up with more because I made 5 of each. So she's going to have to make some more cupcakes. I'm looking for a little stir stick. I cannot believe I'm running out of my sticks. Well, my husband goes to Menards and Woodman's every day, so I'm sure he can pick them up for me. They put a heart monitor on him, so he's got a heart monitor attached to his chest, and every time he has one of these attacks, he's supposed to press it, and it will record everything, which I don't know how much difference that will make. Put all the stuff on these little girls last night, yep, and it dried pretty cute. I know I get sidetracked, guys. I'm going to blame it on my age. When you get old, you just get kind of squirrely. So that's where I'm at. But I'm owning it, guys, because I don't care. And as I've said before in my videos, and if somebody out there's not happy with it, you got the little next button to hit. I find myself doing that a lot when I'm online. But if I just don't like something, and I do it, I told her I was doing audiobooks because I absolutely love them. I'm taking this glue off of this table now because in the past when I've spun them over and worked on the other side, I don't realize that some of this glue gets stuck on them, and then I can't take it off without ripping them apart. My husband saw this table the other day and he said it's all scratched up because he made it and it has the epoxy on it. But I don't think he realized epoxy scratches really bad. So anybody with a table that has an epoxy done on it that he's gotten from him, I need to put a warning label on there that it scratches. Maybe it wouldn't if I didn't gouge it with the tools that I use, but I didn't think it would scratch. And I was so upset when I saw the first scratch because I had no idea it would do that. But by the time I already scratched it once, I was over it. So it's been scratched again and again. It's not productive for me to use the table and rubber mallet or rubber tools. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. So he might just have to re-epoxy it. Okay. Oh, I didn't even show you this image though. Her in a little wash tub with all the flowers. Again, this was a Divine Digital Diva image. It was not the same image as the most popular little girl that I always use the same, I don't know what I would call it. The files, they all look like they're just all in different clothes. And then come in the different skin tone colors. This one was not one of those ones that I normally use. So I wasn't real sure if it was going to blend in with the others because it had a completely different body. But because she's in this tub here, I thought, you know what, I'm going to make it work. It's not the same, but that's okay. I'm going to make it work. Now, what I'm going to do to her is I think I'm going to do some little shading on her arms with my ink. And I need a drink. My mouth is so dry. I got to call the dentist when I get up the courage to tell him to start the process of some work that I'm gonna have done to avoid all these issues I have with my burning mouth. And I'm not looking forward to it. And he said, well, I'm gonna have to do it within 2 years, and it's 2 years now, and it's time to do it. I don't know how come I was so fortunate to have this condition that they say lasts from 6 months to a few years. And for some people, for life. And I'm just one of those lucky some people, because I've had it for 17 years, so I guess I'm going to have it for life. I don't foresee it going anywhere. Not anytime soon. Let me ink up this side a little bit. I'm just trying to blend in. Her face is a little darker than the skin on the baby, so I'm just going to ink a little bit of shading. Not a lot, but just a little bit. Just to get it blend a little bit better. And done. Not too difficult. Now, got to figure out, I dug out all these flowers and greenery and everything to put on here. And I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put it yet. But we're going to find out real quick. First thing I'm going to do is cut them up. And that one doesn't have, let me see, here we go. We're going to use this one. I'm going to put it in there. Yep, I'm going to put one right there. See, this is why it's silly for me to glitter everything first and then finish it up with my, throwing my accents on there, because I'm going right over all the glittering work I did. And I don't like that. But I already did it, so, and I do not have the great big huge flowers. Is this the one that, no, these are go to the other piece. So my flowers for this one are these. Something wasn't making any sense. And we're going to put this one right here. I don't want to use my good scissors. I do go through a lot of scissors. One of the reasons is cutting this stuff isn't real bright using scissors. I should be using wire cutters. But I didn't, and I don't. And I hope I have another one of these for the other side. Pretty sure I do. Not going to fill them all in because I don't have that many big flowers. So let me see what I do have. Let me put some of these on first. Okay, I need one aside for that, and 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, and kind of want to make sure I keep enough for both sides. And these flowers don't necessarily match in color, but that's okay. They can't see under what I'm doing anyway. I'm going to accidentally use my good scissors and cut this. I'm not going to be happy. Now see, that one didn't have the hard wire in the middle. It was just plastic. Then they cut good. This little girl's so adorable. So adorable. My kids all got back from their trips and everybody had a blast, and today went back to reality. The kids all had to go back to school. Okay, and let me see, I'm going to use these pink ones up here in her hair. Again, I'm not going to put a flower on every flower. Well, I suppose I could. I have baskets full of flowers, but I just don't want to put that many on there. I just want it as an accent. I do not want it to be overbearing. Poor thing won't be able to hold her head up. Okay, these weren't for that one. I just did it again. I just took it from the wrong pile. Me, silly, silly. I'll grab them here then and cut them off. I wanted those pink. Okay, and we'll put a couple down here. Where I didn't, you know what, I'm not going to use this thing here. I just want the flower. Actually, I'm going to put a couple right in here. I actually didn't glitter on these, some of these over here. I think that was when I finally caught on to why am I glittering this stuff that I'm going to be covering. I must be pretty slow because I've been doing this for years and I don't know why. I think I've always glittered first. I don't know why. And this I don't think I can get to stand up. I'm not going to use those. I'm talking to myself, guys. Sorry, but I'm going to put one more of the pink over here. Oh, I forgot to turn my... Gonna have to take this call and I will be back shortly. Maybe. No, I'll just let it go. It's my daughter. I'll call her right back. Okay, let me see. I think that I'm going to have that be it for flowers on this one. So we got her done. I'm going to do the other side. And I'm going to break and see what my daughter's calling me for. And then I will come back and finish the last piece that I have. So, thanks guys. I'll be back shortly.